All right, here we are. Welcome to another week of Chiropractic Is Sexy. I'm Dr. Paula Ruffin.
I'm Dr. Erica Peabody, and we're always so happy to be here. I just love it. It's kind of like a little reset, little jazz. We'll get
Yeah.
jazzed up about what we're doing and share. Love it.
The beauty of it is that not only do we get to reset our viewers and listeners, which of course will reset them even better if they like and subscribe and share.
That's right. Do the thing.
But don't you feel like it resets us?
It does.
Like Dr. Eric and I, the energy that we get coming here live every week, I feel like we go into our afternoons just even more jazzed. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Super cool. Yeah.
Yes.
And do you guys like our new side-by-side here? I think it's a little better.
I love it.
Sweet. So,
extreme close up.
I know. Extreme. Yeah. Make sure I don't have any zits going on. But we want to welcome everybody in. And again, we don't ask enough, but please hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribe. If you're coming in from whatever channel you're coming in from, make sure you're jumping over to, we're live on Dr. Paula Ruffin, Dr. Erica Peabody. It's all about the biology. So we're live on all three of those channels, and we would love some love across all the channels, which would be amazing.
That would be awesome.
Oh, there you go. You commented.
I can today. Some days I can. Some days I can't. I don't know what makes the difference.
You did it.
So glad to see you.
It's awesome. Hi, Lily. Nice to see you as well. So today, I thought this was apropos because I had a couple of things come up this week. And you okay? You all right?
You have a glitch. Sorry, you went like into slow motion and then like really fast.
Did I do like a max headroom kind of thing?
You did. I was like, bro. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Hopefully I don't max headroom again. So there's been a handful of things that have come up. And listen, this happens super commonly, but when it happens in concentrated bouts, this always inspires us to bring this topic to you. And so today's topic is talking about, are you truly healthy or are you just not sick? Are you healthy or are you just not living with symptoms? And so we're going to unpack that today because oftentimes, and we've had this conversation many times, how we minimize little things. It's just the regular headaches. Oh gosh, no, I only poop twice a week. No, I've got eczema. Oh, that's not normal to have eczema or chicken bumps on the back of my arms. There's so many things that we're just not told that we should be paying attention to because these things compound over time. And just because you don't think that it's a symptom or anything that's bothering you or alarming at the moment, it will build up. And it will become a problem down the road. So we're going to unpack that today and talk about, are you healthy or just not sick?
So I was thinking about, I almost don't even want to say this phrase, the World Health Organization, right? So that used to not be quite so polarizing to say something like that. But since 2020 and beyond, like the World Health Organization, but what does that really, who is that and what are they doing? But anyway, what they defined health as, and we had to learn this back in chiropractic college verbatim, was the physical, mental, and social well-being, and not just the absence of disease or infirmities, right? So when we think about health, a lot of people just say, oh, they'll say, I took a Sudafed this morning and I'm healthy. I had these symptoms and I took this and now I'm healthy. And it's not really, really true. Just because you don't have symptoms doesn't really mean that you're healthy. On the physical level, the mental and emotional well-being. So all of those things go into sort of our, I don't know, would you call it like a health quotient or something like that? Just kind of considering like it's very global. It's not just not having symptoms.
The physical, mental, social well-being. And that describes it perfectly, not just the absence of symptoms. Yeah. So think about that and how we minimize. So we'll use high blood pressure. Oh, but I manage it with medication. My migraines, I manage it with medication. Oh, it's fine because I manage it with medication. So we are living in this world where we've been conditioned to think that just because we manage a symptom with medication, that equates to health. And that's absolutely not true, because you are not deficient in that medication. That's not why your body is doing what it's doing. It's really important to take this lens and say, what's actually happening and what are all the pieces and why would I have this? Because when you take a medication for something, and okay, let me make the disclaimer, we're not here to tell you to stop taking medication. We're here just to get you thinking about what it is in your daily lives that you might be doing, that perhaps you could have a conversation with your doctor over this. Yeah. But when we are taking these medications, if let's say you're taking high blood pressure medication, so you're taking a drug to push something down, well, something else has to respond. And that's how all medications work. You don't just manage one symptom. And that's why we have side effects, because these medications come in and they will alter other things, which is where then, oh, you've got a headache now from taking this medication. Oh, let's give you a drug for the headache. Oh, and now you're retaining water. Let's give you a drug to dump the water. And so that becomes this like unending cycle. Mm-hmm. And in my opinion, once you're fully in that system, it's very difficult to get out. So we want to just shed some light on that. Like, don't become a part of that system.
Well, one of the things that Dr. Paula just said as well is side effects. So they say they're side effects. So they're not like effects, right? But if we take the word out of there, like the side effects are actually effects. They just like to use that word side so that it seems like it's just kind of like a side effect of the actual drug. And we don't actually believe in side effects truly, where it's like that's the actual effect of the medication. It's not to the side. So I also want to bring this into the ideas of, okay, so let's just say one of our friends had this situation earlier this week. Let's just say I ate some poisoned, or there was this lettuce that was contaminated, not poisoned, contaminated is the right word. Now my body, and our friend was telling us about her story, but my body will take that contaminated lettuce and get it out in whatever means possible. So that means it's going to come up this direction and out the other direction, and probably fever and high racing heart and all of that stuff. My question, as you listen to this, with all of those symptoms, would you call that healthy or not healthy? And so for me, and if you think about it, it's like, for me, that is a sign of health. So if somebody else ate the same lettuce, and somebody's response was right away, and somebody else's response was 16 hours later, I would actually say the one that was having the response right away has greater signs of health, is getting the stuff out quicker. And just because she has symptoms faster, he, she, whoever, it actually is like, let's get this out of the system. The body recognizes a contaminant and got it right out. So it's like health is physical, mental, and social well-being. And the physical health is actually, my body had major symptoms too. So I wanted to just kind of throw that in, because that is a complete 180 on symptoms actually being good. So then if you took an antiemetic or an anti-diarrhea medication, that's undoing
stopping
what the body says, get this out of me by any means possible, ASAP. And that's actually a really healthy response. So we can never go by symptoms or no symptoms ever. Because that would say that I'm super sick. Yeah, I have food poisoning. That's what I have. But my body's smart. It's like, get it out. ASAP.
Yeah. And I'm going to go back many years ago, and I'm going to talk about my dog for a second. He got into something. I don't know what he got into, but he was vomiting, and I was really worried. And you know how dogs are, like, oh my gosh, they can turn on a dime. So I take him to the vet, and the vet says, well, we'll just give him an anti-vomiting medication. And I said, what if there's something in there though that needs to come out? And then he said, oh, well, maybe you're right. Maybe we won't do that. I was like, okay. And so this kept happening. And I happened to be 7 months pregnant and I was traveling, took my dog in right before I left. And a friend of mine was caring for him. I had to go to this event. So it wasn't like I could cancel it. But they called me from the vet office and they were going to actually open him up to see what was going on because something was in there on the x-ray. And before they did surgery, they gave him morphine maybe. And they said sometimes that makes them vomit even more. Turns out he had eaten bacon grease soaked paper towel.
Oh.
And fortunately, they gave him the morphine before they put him under to do the surgery, and he vomited it up. Now, think about that. Like as humans, and even for the dog, like that probably would have killed him. That would have caused a major blockage if we would have prevented him from vomiting that up and forced his body to push that through his intestines. And that's what we do with humans too, is we want to stop all these processes. And we just need to allow our body, as you said, I think that was a brilliant share, that those symptoms, recognizing when they're for a purpose versus when they're signals, they're alarm signals. So paying attention to both of those. How do I manage the ones that are like, I'm minimizing and their signals and, oh, it's just a little bit of headache and, oh, I only get eczema during the winter, or, oh, I've never had a regular bowel movement. It's normal for me. None of that stuff is normal. And so it's common, two very different things. What's the difference between common and normal? So you have to think, this is common. It doesn't make it normal. And that's where is it me or you? Because you're glitching on me now.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. I don't know.
So we have to think of common versus normal. And that's where if you're like, oh yeah, if I just keep picking on eczema, but I'll just keep picking on it, I guess. So is it common for people to have eczema or rashes? Yes. Is it normal? No. Is it common for people to get vomiting and diarrhea when they eat something bad? Yes. Is it normal? Yes. So asking yourself those two very simple questions can help you filter out a lot and be able to figure out, what do I need to focus on in order to get my health on track? Sorry.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, we have a lot of, I'm just going to shift locations. I don't know what is going on back there. I'm just going to sit on the floor up here. We have a lot of things, especially, I don't know. It's like, we know with humans what needs to happen, but with our dogs, it's even more pronounced, right? Where it's like, I'm not going to do that with my body. I'm not going to actually look for these answers for my body. I'm going to look for something a whole lot different than that. And so I don't know, it's sort of front and center with the dogs, but it should be really front and center with ourselves. And Dr. Paula and I are like this. That's what we always seek out for ourselves. But that's why we want to talk today about what is really wellness. What was the actual sickness and illness?
Are you truly healthy or just not sick?
Okay. Yeah. So are you truly healthy or just not sick? And we had a coffee walk and talk this morning, which turned out amazing. It was so beautiful this morning. And there was, I think, 10 of us, something like that. And we just walked around the neighborhood with coffee. It was really fun. But anyways, I was looking up last night because I wanted to share. I wanted to share first, it was going to be 20 benefits of walking. Then it was like, what are 50 benefits of walking? And ChatGPT gave me that. Then I was like, what's 100 benefits of walking? And ChatGPT had a list of 100. What's 500 benefits of walking? And there's so much that we can do. And that was one of them. So as we were walking, obviously everyone was up. We were getting the sunshine that we had talked about. We were getting the movement. We were getting community. So we were getting a lot of those things that then create for a better day. I had a new patient in yesterday and she was like, when I get my movement in the morning, I just have a way better day, a way different day. And add those days up over and over and over, and you've got yourself a whole lot more health and wellness than what you would by just making sure that you don't have symptoms, like it's just continuing to be super proactive. There we go. I
know. I'm like, you're struggling over there.
I know. I needed a seat. I don't know what the heck. There we go. That's so much better. I was like squatting, which I could squat for a while, but it's not going to be for 40 minutes.
Your lighting looks better there too.
Yeah, it is nice here. This is actually in one of my adjusting rooms. So I got my supplement shelf over there and reception through there. It's
exactly where you're at. Yeah, that's a nice space. That's it. So I wanted to share a story today with regards to this too. I had a new patient. I've been taking care of his wife and 2 kids for years, but the husband finally came in. It's one of those things. It's like the wives have to send the husbands in. Husbands will not do anything for themselves. And I think if you're a single man, one of the biggest things that will help your life is to have a good woman next to you, but you have to be a good man too. So I'm not saying that. Yeah. Anyway,
we could go down a huge rabbit hole.
Exactly. You should just have one whole dating show. But anyway, so he comes in, and I had met him once before when we were talking about doing some labs on him and discussing nutrition. And when I first met him, the first thing that hit me about him was he had like dark circles around his eyes, and he was like ashen and almost green. And I was like, oh, he's not healthy. He's 39 years old. So we ran labs on him, ran a complete blood work panel on him, dove deep on it, and did an organic acids test, which tells us all the bacteria in the gut, good, bad, and the ugly. And so when he came in and I started to ask him questions, and I didn't just say, here's your labs and here's what I found. I wanted to get his backstory first. I wanted to figure out what was his impetus for doing this. And he had gone to his medical doctor for his annual physical. He's like, no, I guess I feel fine. He goes, I'm tired every once in a while, but they have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, or a 5 and a 2-year-old. I mean, they're young parents with very active boys. So it's hard to say, tell me about your sleep pattern. You're So he doesn't really know how well he sleeps. He doesn't really know what his energy is supposed to be like because they're raising 2 young boys. But so I'm bringing this up to him, and we're having this conversation. And I said, he said, when he went for his physical, he asked his doctor, well, will you draw some blood? I haven't had labs done in a long time. And his doctor said to him, you're 39 years old, you're young, you're healthy, nothing's wrong with you. There's no need to draw labs. And I drew his labs. And when he told me that, I tend to get furious when people tell me those things, especially when I uncovered what I uncovered on this young man's labs. And I truly believe that if he sat on this for the next 5 or 10 years, he would have some catastrophic diagnosis. Mm-hmm. They were so altered in a way that was like, oh, shoot. He's like, well, what do I do about it? I go, we're going to get you there. Like, there's a whole peeling back of things. So that also made me think about this topic, is that he's feeling pretty good. He's got 2 young kids. It's easy to say, well, yeah, it doesn't, I think I have energy, and he's busy, and he works a lot. Anyway, the whole point is that he was just like, yeah, I think it's a good idea to get it checked out. And his doctor completely dismissed him. Mm-hmm. And that to me is malpractice. Mm-hmm. That's just, so we did the thing, we uncovered all the things, and now we're going to move forward and we're going to take care of this young man. I say young man, like I'm an old woman, but also in the same respect too, we tested his oldest son, who's now, I think he's 5 or 6. He's 6. I think he's in 1st grade. And he's got glyphosate poisoning. He's toxic in Roundup. Mm-hmm. And so, but they live on a couple of acres, and they raise chickens, and mom cooks, the wife, she cooks all organic. I did ask him, his iron levels were super high. And I go, do you cook in cast iron? He goes, all the time. I go, I'm going to have to tell her she can't cook in cast. I'm like, we gotta take that off the table. And so that's like, oh yeah, let's cook in cast iron. We can't cook in nonstick, but then that becomes a thing. So it's really great to know somebody like me and Dr. Erica, who can put a lens on it in such a way that reveals things so that you don't end up with some catastrophic diagnosis down the road. So that's that kind of was my inspiration for creating this show today. Cause I'm like, nobody should go through that like that.
Yeah. I was sharing with a patient this morning. So he is finishing he's a college professor. So he's finishing his semester, is headed off on summer break, which is basically he just has all of his time off. And we were talking about, I don't know if he was talking about his family, his mom or something, but we're just saying that aging is the constant and continuous pursuit of comfort, as we've talked about in the past. And it's like, for everybody, even for the walk and talk this morning, it's like, did everybody really want to get up and go for a walk? Like, do we want to do that? Do we want to just stay comfortable? Do we want to, ease into the years, like keep going and masking all the symptoms? What can we do so that we're making an effort towards our health, even if we don't have symptoms? So it's like there's, we talk, eat well, move well, think well, drink your water, get your rest, get adjusted. And that's where chiropractic fits in. And we can also deal with patients with no symptoms, but I love the ones that start with some sort of symptom that brings people in. And then we start to get them to have a little bit more bandwidth for their food choices, a little bit more awareness of their food choices, a little bit more awareness of the medications they may be taking, have been taking for far too long. The fact that they're not drinking water. I had this 85-year-old and he's quite youthful for 85. When you would look at him and watch him move around, I don't know how he kept this body so youthful. I asked him the other day, I'm like, do you drink any water? And he's like none. And he's like, I don't know where my spine.
Don't tell people that.
I know, kind of feels a little bit stiff every day and those kinds of things. I was like, let's go ahead and add in some water into your days. I can't do that for you. You're going to have to take that on as your own responsibility. And now he's like, oh. And then today was all about breathing, like getting back to the fact. I said, do you take any? He said, I take a couple deep breaths with you when I'm on the adjusting table, like all week. He's in twice a week right now. So it's, there's a lot of things that we can be doing every single day to get us down the line of health, even without sickness, even without symptoms. So,
well, and you bring up a good point that so many people blame it on age. Yeah. I guess I'm just getting older. Oh, it's just a part of aging. And also when you go see your medical doctor, because they either are unknowing or unwilling to give you answers, they will often say it's just aging. It's just a normal part of aging. And I know, to that man's point, I know a lot of people who are healthy and vibrant, who are moving and grooving, and their brains are just firing all cylinders, and their bodies, they're just amazing people. And I just don't, I'm sure we're going to slow down at some point until we drop dead. And then
knock on wood,
but the whole point is we can't chalk up, if you are tired, if you wake up every day and you're still a little bit tired and you never feel refreshed, that's a signal. Mm-hmm. If you've got brain fog and you're getting a little forgetful, that's a signal. If your joints are stiff and sore, you're not moving as well, that's a signal. So it's really optimizing all of those things. And so I just feel like it's unacceptable for anyone to say to themselves, oh, I'm just getting old. Oh, I'm just aging. I will scold people in the most loving way, because I'm like, that is not your destiny. You are not, none of us signed up for it, but we've all been conditioned to think it's normal. Yeah. And so we need to pull people out of that well of mindset and give them new hope, give them a new path, and show them that is not their destiny.
I was talking with, I shared this patient a couple of weeks ago because she's in the tax industry, right? So she's a CPA and they're getting all their stuff done through tax season. So now we're 3 weeks beyond that. And so I was chatting with her. She comes weekly. She has for years. I was chatting with her yesterday when she was in, and we were talking. So she was like, oh yeah, I went, made it to a couple of Pilates classes and did a couple of other things. I can't remember what our other workouts were, but she said, I said, yeah, so that's so great. She said, I've never felt tax season as intensely as I have. My body has never failed this much as intensely as it has. And she said, I need a better plan next year when tax season rolls around. And she said, you told me, it was probably a month ago. She said, you had said tax season is a quarter of the year and you can't give up on all the other things you're doing for yourself, your health and your wellness for one quarter of the year and expect it to be okay. And she said, you said that to me and it like landed like for good. And I'm like, I just said it because it's the truth. And I have dealt with that kind of stuff too, where I'm like, I don't feel so good. I don't want to get up. I don't want to go out. I have a lot of pain, blah, blah, blah. And that went on for a while. And then I'm like, you know what? I can do what I can do. I can't do everything that I used to be able to do, but I can do what I can do every single day. And so she said, I have a new plan next year. And I'm like, that's amazing. And she said, thank you so much for even saying that, because I wasn't really realizing how much I was giving up on my health and my wellness and all the things that keep me really healthy during January through middle April. Because in the summertime, she starts to get every Friday off, which I love that for her. So the rest of the summer, she'll have only 4 days of work, and then she'll have Fridays off. And then in the fall, it kind of switches again. And she's like, thank you so much for saying that. And I'm like, I'm just so glad it made a big difference. So I guess that's one of my call to actions is, what are you doing for a quarter of the year that isn't serving you and your health and wellness? Because we're all like that. We're humans, right? And this winter was cold and extra hard, and and we're all ready for some warmth. I mean, I've had multiple layers on today because it's chilly still.
I cranked my heat up.
Yes.
Well, we are coming into another season where people give up one quarter of their year, and that is called summer. And you can either, which I don't understand why anyone doesn't lean into summer, where so many people take their foot off the gas and are like, oh my God, I'm going to go out to the lake every day and I'm going to have cocktails and I'm going to eat indulgently. And you can't do that for 3 months and expect something good. And then the next quarter comes later in the year, which is the holiday season. And you're like, oh, I'm going to eat cookies and candy and cake, and I don't have time to exercise because I have parties to go to. So I think she's a great example of what giving up one quarter of your year can do. And then other people who aren't accountants and CPAs, think about how much time do you give up? Do you actually give up a full season of your life to just take your foot off the gas and not commit? And like, oh, it's easier this way, and not prioritize really. And you just have got to keep yourself at the top of the priority list.
I love that phrase, taking our foot off the gas. I just love that phrase. I think we need to do an entire podcast about it, because I was I think it was February or March this year, I was doing a coffee talk, and it was called Don't Be a Zero. Like, don't be a zero, just meaning like, don't just sit back and rest on your laurels for your health, for your wellness, for your aging. We don't really ever get to take our foot off the gas. But it's like, where are you focused? What are you optimizing for in your world? Like, there's people that have their foot on the gas for business and their family is on the wayside. There's people that have their foot on the gas for, let's just say, I look at this like this. It's like put their foot on the gas for golf season, especially in Michigan. But other things are left on the wayside. When you put your foot on the gas for, whatever it is, it's like, we need to have multiple areas moving us forward with our health, but our foot, we don't get to just coast ever.
I'm actually taking notes.
Yeah, ever. We don't get to coast. And we need to, as entrepreneurs, as business owners, it's like, what if I just took my foot off the gas and like didn't come in today, wasn't able, just didn't come in and wasn't here to help the people that doesn't work, but it doesn't work for anything in our lives. If we want to have health and wellness and longevity and age well and feel good and be able to be on the dance floor instead of in a wheelchair at grandchildren's weddings, parties of any sort. So,
well, that was great. I took notes while you were saying that, and I'll start writing next week's show based on that. I think that's great, because that is, yeah, it's not just taking your foot off the gas on one thing. It's like, yeah, we go pedal to the metal on, like you say, so many people pedal to the metal on work, but neglect family, or, pedal to the metal on family, neglect work. You still have to bring home the bacon fried up in a pan.
Don't make the donuts.
And then, or some people could be pedal to the metal on their health, like in an obsessive way, and then again neglecting other things. So I think it's just interesting. It's a really good topic. So we'll kind of start going back and forth on where do we go, and that's the whole, I'll call it, nonsense of work-life balance, or just balance in life. That doesn't exist. I do feel like there is an ebb and flow, and that sometimes there's a little more time spent in certain areas of our lives and a little less time spent, but we can't ever have these extremes of just pouring fully into one side and completely neglecting the other. That's where we really get ourselves into trouble.
So then what are those areas of life? And there's body, there's being, there's balance, and there's business. But then, so that's one framework of one of the people that I follow, but it's also, as we go back ad nauseum, I'll say this: eating well, moving our bodies, keeping a positive mental attitude, getting our rest, getting water, and getting adjusted. And so as Dr. Paula and I look out into our worlds, I can tell you those are our 6 focuses always. Not only do we teach them, we also walk inside of that. Like if Dr. Paula and I are getting together, we are, even if we're having a cocktail, we're also chugging our water and we're talking about connections and we're connecting with each other. But sometimes we'll go for a walk, we'll meet at a yoga class, and then we'll go get a nice meal, like stuff like that. So it's like, it's all 6 of those things every single day. And I can tell you, I don't know one other person that is more tuned into body's needs for rest, the ability to say no, the need to say no, than Dr. Paula, but also myself now. Like she's an example for me, because I tend to go over the top at certain seasons of life. And now I'm like, you know what? It's almost like, because she gives herself permission to shut it all down and say no, it actually allows me to just say, you know what? That's not going to serve me. That's not going to be those 6 things I need to focus on. And then we'll screenshot our aura at our sleep in the morning and be like, she gets 90s, meant a lot. I don't get many 90s. But it's like hanging around with people that also align, but those 6 things are always front and center. Like there's not a day that I would go without getting movement in. Not a day. Not a day I'll go without the right amount of water, or at least pretty darn close to that. Sleep is, it's food is always a thing. Positive mental attitude. We have accountability groups for that. So it's always those 6 things, and getting adjusted every week, no matter what.
Yeah. And I think you mentioned community, but I want to emphasize community, because when Dr. Eric and I get together, it's usually fun. Like there's usually laughter. We're usually around complete strangers that we make friends with. Dr. Erica was going to rest this weekend. And then I actually told her, I said, you should probably stay home to rest. I'm going to this thing. And it was a derby party. And then I get up.
I was like, see you in 90 minutes.
Yeah. But so this is the other thing. We didn't just meet at the derby party. Like we got dressed up. We put our fancy hats on. We made an entrance. Like there's no shortage of we're showing up. Like when we show up. And I think too, like from a clothing perspective, I love being able to put on fun clothes and of course wearing the fancy hats, and that brings me joy too. And then being able to hang out with friends who do the same thing. It's just those things that you just find those moments of joy that you can then share with each other. And yeah, I mean, I leave fulfilled, it's, I think we need more of that.
Well, I also think because we do this, we always have our foot on the gas for those other 6 things. When opportunities arise, like for me, it was like I got a lot of chaos at home and it was like, I think I might just stick home. But because I keep myself resourced in those 6 areas, I am able to make true decisions on joy because I'm not burning. I haven't burnt up my engine in one spot. I have already had my movement for the day. I have already had my water. I have already gone out and gotten, like I did get some really good rest. Like I always prioritize those 6. So when opportunities arise, I'm not robbing Peter to pay Paul. I'm truly ready and resourced. And that I think is really how we show up. And actually we went to an open house for this Zen center that is a Zen Lighten built by a physical therapist in downtown Milford. Beautiful place. If you're anywhere close to there, have an opportunity to get there. But it was also like, well, we're doing this and then we're going to the Derby party. So I'm not going, let's just show up like full send. And we walked in and they're like,
everybody was in sweatpants.
They're like, you're at the wrong party. I'm like, no. We're here at the right party. We just have also another party that we're going to.
Yeah, we don't go small.
Very joy filled.
Yeah. That's outstanding. Well, I think so. I think we'll just leave you all with asking yourself: is this normal or is this common? Ask yourself those 2 questions and start paying attention to the signals. As quiet as they are, they will whisper to you. Do not ignore them because they can be very loud voices later on in life. And we would not want that to end up something that you don't want to end up at. So, and it sounds like we're going to be bringing to you next week. What is it? Taking your foot off the gas?
Don't get to,
Yes. Yeah. I had Bob on my Sunday night show 2 weeks ago. He was a guest. And he was a really great interview. So, okay. So that's it, you guys. We will see you next week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, share on your way out. If you didn't hit the button on the way in, if you're watching the replay, do all those same things. We really appreciate it. And we will see you next week.
Peace.